Nisange noru janmabi na vidur mrigayanto api Tibra yoga samadhinam Munaya padavim yasya Nisange noru janmabi na vidur mrigayanto api Tibra yoga samadhinam Munaya padavim yasya Nisange narujannavi Navidur mrigayanto api Tibra yoga samadhina Munaya padavim yasya Nisange narujannavi Navidur mrigayanto api Tibra yoga samadhina Munaya padavim yasya Nisange narujannavi Navidur mrigayanto api Tibra yoga samadhina Munaya padavim yasya Nisange narujannavi Navidur mrigayanto api Tibra yoga samadhina Munaya padavim yasya Nisange narujannavi Navidur mrigayanto api Tibra yoga samadhina Munaya, great sages, padavim, path, yasya, whose, nisangena, by detachment, uru janmabhi, after many births, na, never, viduhu, understood, mrigayantaha, searching for, api, certainly, Tibra yoga, severe austerities, samadhina, by trance. Translation purpose is given to Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. Narad Muni continued, after trying this process for many births and remaining unattached to material contamination, placing themselves continually in trance and executing many types of austerities, many mystic yogis were unable to find the end of the path of God realization. Text 32. Ato nivartatam yesa nirbandhastava nispalaha yatishati bhavan kale shreyasham samupashite ataha. Hereafter nivartatam, just stop yourself, yesaha, this, nirbandhaha, determination, tava, your, nispalaha, without any results, yatishyati, in the future we should try, bhavan, yourself, kale, in due course of time, shreyasam, opportunities, sampustaste, being present. Translation. For this reason, my dear boy, you should not endeavor for this. It will not be successful. It is better that you go home. When you are grown up by the mercy of the Lord, you will get a chance for these mystic performances. At that time, you may execute this function. Purport. Generally, a thoroughly trained person takes to spiritual perfection at the end of his life. According to the Vedic system, therefore, life is divided into 4 stages. In the beginning, one becomes a brahmachari, a student who studies Vedic knowledge under the authoritative guidance of a spiritual master. He then becomes a householder and executes a household duties according to the Vedic process. Then the householder becomes a vanaprastha, and gradually when he is mature, he renounces household life. And vanaprastha life is also and takes to sannyasa, completely devoting himself to devotional service. Generally, people think that childhood is meant for enjoying life by engaging oneself in sports and play. Youth is meant for enjoying the company of young girls, and when one becomes old at the time of death, then he may try to execute devotional service or a mystic yoga process. But this conclusion is not for devotees who are actually serious. The great sage Narada is instructing Dhruva Maharaj just to test him. Actually, the direct order is that from any point of life, one should begin rendering devotional service. But it is the duty of the spiritual master to test the disciple to see how seriously he decides to execute devotional service. Then he may be initiated. Let's chant Mangalacharan. Om Ajnana-timirandasya Jana Salakaya Chakshuru Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapatantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utapata Kamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavam Cha Shri Rupam Sagarjatam Sakagana Raghunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitam Sra He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Shute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpa Tarubhasya Kripa Sindhubhayevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So let me take the blessings of all the Vaishnavas assembled here. So also take the blessings of my Siksha Gurus and mentors and my spiritual Janmashtami Pr. So right words comes at the right time. So we are in the very important section where Dhruva Maharaj is entering into forest, and then he wants to meet Narayan to get the blessing so that he can get the wealth more than what his grandfather had it. So he had a lots of material desire. So he wants in the search how to do. So he is in the forest now. So when Narad Muni came, and then he is coming and meeting the Dhruva Maharaj. So this is a section he is testing the Dhruva Maharaj before giving the process. So if you look at what Narad Muni's points here, right, let's see. There are 4 important points here. So first, what he's Narad Muni is saying, this process is very difficult. So many people tried for lots of time. That means they are trying to execute for a long time, and the end they may not fully achieve this path of God realization. That's the first thing he is telling it. And then what he is telling, now you just go home, and then maybe by chance after you grown up you will get an opportunity, that time you take it. So that time you can execute it. That's what the Narad Muni is telling. So first point is what Narad Muni is making is, we need to really understand, it's a very difficult process, the meditation. We know for us when we do chanting, it's a very hard, it's like forget about being a trance, normal to chant, it's a very hard. How do you do a meditation? That's a very tough process. So also what he is trying to do is he is going to meditation on the Lord. So on the what it's predominantly kind of a mystic yoga. So in Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, right, in chapter 8, so one who attains how do you attain the supreme? That section he says that Sat Chakra Yoga. So how complex it is to perform that one. So what the Krishna says, so one who is learned in Vedas, they utter the Omkara. So that means any jnanis, they are doing a meditation. What he has to do is they have to have a celibacy. They have to practice as a celibacy. Once they practice as the celibacy, then they have to detach from the all sensual engagement, and then what they need to do, they have to close all the doors of the senses. With that one, in the mind and heart, they need to utter the word Omkara, thinking about the Lord. After that, at that time, they have to, when they quit their body, they will reach the spiritual planet. That's what the Krishna says. You know how difficult it is. Then immediately Krishna says, Arjuna, before asking it, that's all not required for my devotees. If they just simply remembers me with the devotions, they can attain the one. So Krishna itself says that it's a very tough. That's the reason he didn't stop. This is the way Krishna didn't say. Immediately the next verse, he will just say that you remember with me in the devotion, you can attain the supreme abode. So that's the one. It's a very tough process, right? So Narad Muni says to Dhruva Maharaj like this. The same Narad Muni, when Prajapati Daksha has a 10,000 sons, they all being Prajapati Daksha said that, okay, progenitor, he said that all the sons, you need to have a progenitor. So they all go and do, okay, his father told to make sons become, develop the progeny. What they did, they all went to do the austerities. So they are doing austerities. That time Narad Muni came, and then he said that don't do austerity, it is no use. And then he tells that take the Bhakti Yoga, and then you can do. So then they are not gone to Grahastha Ashram. They directly went to Bhakti Yoga. So Prajapati Daksha got angry. So if you look at that same Narad Muni, he has a different times he is talking different things. So, but what he said to Daksha is the same what he is trying to tell to the Dhruva Maharaj. He is just testing the Dhruva Maharaj. Are we really ready to take up the bhakti process? It may not be that easy. Yesterday verse we have seen, right? Prabhupada beautifully written, right? So in the purport, bhakti is, the process of bhakti is simultaneously very difficult and very easy to perform. So that's a very important ones to understand. That's what Narad Muni is trying to say. So to just give an example, someone asked Prabhupada, why not many people are entering into taking up the devotion service? He said that it's very difficult. It's difficult to become a Krishna conscious person. Then he said that it's very difficult to continue in the Krishna consciousness process. Maybe many people will take up the Krishna consciousness process, but how many people are continued it? It's a very less, because that's what Prabhupada says. It's very difficult. He says it's very, very difficult to be happy in the Krishna consciousness person. So because people will take, then they have some kind of attachment. It's like, oh, this is not happening, that's not happening. I have taken a Krishna consciousness, I have given so much thing to Krishna, but Krishna is giving me anything. That's what. It's not like people not be like very, very happy. They cannot have that happiness in the Krishna conscious person. So that's what he said. It's a very, very difficult. So the process is simple, but our conditioned nature, it's making it very difficult to follow it. So that's what the Prabhupada says. That's what here Narad Muni is testing it, right? So going back, this even this points comes in the Uddhav Gita, where in Uddhav Gita, Krishna explained so much thing about the Jnana Yoga, what is the process and everything. After hearing that, Uddhava said that, I fear the method you described is, it's very difficult for one who cannot control the mind. That's what Uddhava is telling. So he says that he simply rejects that Krishna, whatever he said is fine, but I fear it is very difficult to follow this process. So then he is asking that, please explain to me in simple terms. He say the word simple terms. How can I execute it? That's where the Krishna starts the last chapter of Uddhav Gita starts the Bhakti Yoga. He explains it. So this is what we need to really understand it. It may not be that easy to process when you simply go with the meditation and then mystic yoga. That's why we have to see what's the Bhakti Yoga. So other one, what he's telling is, you are right now a boy. So you just to grow up and then become one, right? So if you look at the beautifully Prabhupada, what he does is, he gives up the Varnashrama system, and immediately he says that it's very tough to process it. if you look at that boy, currently there is a statistic from the Youth Australia, they have done the statistics. So they have done they have taken year 3 to year 12 for starting from year 3. So that means what, they are 8 years old. So from they have almost 140k of students. They have done the statistics. In that 35.9% of the people have some kind of anxiety and depressions. So year 3, maybe they are preparing for OC. So year 3 to year 12, so they have that almost, if you meet any third person, he is have either anxiety or depression. So that's how the state. So Varnashrama system it's completely currently not there. I don't know about earlier days. If you look at what Narad Muni is telling, when you get the old, you can practice the bhakti, right? So I don't know, I may be doing it very short duration of one. But if you try to give books to somebody is more than 55 years old, what is the probability of them getting the books? The answer always they give is, I know everything, I have read, I know. That's what they do. Maybe, I don't know, Baba Prabhu and others may have better experience. The number of probability of them getting the books is very hardly low. That means at the age of 55 plus, definitely I have seen, means my parents are very aged, so it's not that easy to take up the bhakti, even if they want it. Means my mother wants to read Bhagavad Gita, but she cannot read much because her vision has been impacted. She has struggled a lot and do it. Yeah, it's not that easy, not like what earlier stages and everything, right? It changes it. No, we cannot do it always in our means. In adult age, we have so much of conditions. It's very hard to taking a bhakti in the later parties. Even if you want, our body will not allow to take it up. So that's a very important thing. We need to really understand it. So why Narad Muni is testing it? Is the testing is a really important one. So Romapada Swami Maharaj, he beautifully says one of the one, right? So we all know that Rupa Goswami says that what is the eligibility for the devotion service. He says that sincerity is a very important one. So we need to have a sincerity. Krishna really tests that one. Do you really want to become my devotees, or you just coming here for what purpose of it, right? So you want to really test it out. So then only we'll just get the bhakti, because bhakti is a very secret, right? So in that sense, Sachinanda Swami Maharaj was giving one beautiful pastime between, this is a conversation between Indradumna Maharaj and Prabhupada. One day Indradumna Maharaj, he wants to go for a Sankirtan. So what he does it, he means set of devotees, that's during our Prabhupada time, set of devotees, they took their car and then going. While going, in between the car stopped, and then because it ran out of gas, so they have to walk to certain distance to fill the tank, get the gas and then fill it the tank. So they've done it. Then while going, after further some time, the tire got punctured. So again it's got, okay, they have to get the tire replaced. So they further go. Then when they gone to the place, it started raining heavily. So they couldn't do any much singing or what. So then they went to some shade. Okay, we just came, we'll just try to do it. What happened when they tried to do? One lady has come. She's just Maharaj was showing. He closes his ears, and then with the tongue she's putting, and then giving so much of one. So Maharaj thought, okay, so such kind of place people will not come and live here. So he went to different place, but that lady was following it. So Indranjamna Maharaj is got, okay, today is not the day for the Harinam, and then he went. Prabhupada asked it. That day itself, Prabhupada asked to Maharaj, Indranjamna Maharaj, what happened? How was your Sankirtan? So he couldn't say much or one. Prabhupada was, he was always want to know the details. Prabhupada was like, keep on asking, tell me what happened, tell me what happened. Then he said, no Prabhupada, here today we couldn't do much, this is what happened, everything. Prabhupada said beautifully, so this is what Sachinanda Maharaj is emphasizing on this lecture, is that one, preaching is not easy, preaching is very difficult. So, but the one point is that if you, it will always you have the difficulties. When you cross that other end of the road, you always see that how the Krishna's hand was there with you to take you to that other end. You continue on, you can see the Krishna. That's what Prabhupada always said, that you can meet the Krishna in the road. So that's what the Prabhupada, what he was telling it. We have to really understand what the real test we are going on to it. That's something. So one point, this is something I used to always, few times I used to discuss with my wife. One day I was going to, from office, I was going to for some test in the Macquarie. I saw Bhava Prabhu and Madhura Prabhu, they are doing books. So I was like, okay, I was very late, I just went, I didn't, while coming, I met. So that day, if you look, I was doing office and thing, but the energy and the bright, what they had, the happiness, what Bhava Prabhu and Madhura, that day, while coming back, I met Bhava Prabhu. He was talking, there so much of happiness and one. I was like, what? I was in the office, all these things, and then it's mainly my place for my, they'll gratify my the senses and everything, where they have got so much of one, how much they had a happiness, which I never had it. Always, this is something we'll always talk about this multiple times. That's the reason if you see, they always be enjoy, right? Because why that is like, so this is something which Deva Shakti Mataji was telling me. So Prabhupada is always says that one day this is what happened, Deva Shakti Mataji is what she is telling is, so they were in the India, so that time not much temple and everything, they are keep traveling it. They sent a mail to, means post to Prabhupada, can we have a DT so that we can have it. Prabhupada said that no, my books are the DTs. So my books are the DTs. This is a Shabda Brahman. So you pray to the mood, you read my books, so you no need to even have a DTs. So that's what, if you Mataji was telling, if you give the books, you are giving a Krishna to someone, you always feel the happiness, right? So that's what the real test of it. If you really do it, whether how much we are taken up the process, something we can see it in the happiness. Prabhupada always says that one, right? There, many people ask the Prabhupada, are we really progressing in the bhakti? Prabhupada says that one, if you are happy, then you are progressing in the bhakti. If you are not jolly, he used the word jolly. If you are not jolly, you are in Maya. So that means you are thinking something else. How can you not be in a happy if you are doing the Krishna consciousness? Coming back to the point, so we may think that test is like it's a tough, but really if you look at that one, the process, whoever going through the process, they all have the happiness. So giving roads that day, giving books is not that easy. We can see that the happiness what they have in their face, whereas I was the whole day, that is the different story. We need to really do it. So how do we really, to understand more in the test perspective, right? In Spiritual Warrior book, Bhakti, Tirtha Swami Maharaj writes a beautiful point. He says that one, the test is being set by the teacher not to fail the student. So it's to really to know, to tell the student how we are progressing on it, right? It is really to send it to a next level. So that's the one. So it's not about really to fail the student. That's what we need to really understand. It's like what they are really doing is they really give the opportunity. So if there is a provoking situation comes, how do we really have to understand it? So it can be two reasons we are getting a provoking situation. We all get a provoking situation. Either it is to display our character, that means our qualities. So if there is a provoking situation comes, we are, let's say, tolerance or compassion and everything, that means it's to, we are displaying our Vaishnava qualities. So that's the one. Or maybe other way around. It's to show that Krishna is telling us, you still have to grow, Now you know that this provoking situation you have failed it. Okay, come back next time. So that's a one. Either is to it's for us to display our thing, or it's to learn or correct. It's a one more opportunity what Krishna is giving us to. Okay, you got this opportunity, you didn't do it well, come back again next time. That's what we need to do at the provoking situation. So if you look at the test, is it really needed? How people really take up the test, right? Is that something? It's like we all have, for example, our entrance test, or what is it? Right? So which is a test? It's a very difficult one. How others will take it, right? When we know the Prabhupada in before going into US, he was almost literally in kind of a poverty. He didn't have much money. He don't have any money. So Bhakti Madhav Maharaj, he talks about the Prabhupada. So what happens, one day in the Delhi summer, it's a very peak summer, Prabhupada was standing with his bicycle in front of one house. Bhakti Madhav Maharaj is telling. So he asked that Prabhupada, what is that? This gentleman is called me. He said, give me 5 rupees. So then the Maharaj went somewhere, and then while coming back, he saw again Prabhupada stands there. What happened? So the gentleman is yet to come. I am waiting for him. It was very hot and everything, and Maharaj was so compassionate. He said, "Don't worry, I'll give you 5 rupees." Then Prabhupada said that, "Will you give every month 5 rupees?" Okay, I'll give you every month 5 rupees. You come. Then he saw the Prabhupada dress, and then he got a new dresses to Prabhupada and everything. He said that you no need to go to all the places. I'll give you even 10 rupees. You stay here. But Prabhupada is like, what he does it, he gets the 10 rupees is for his eating. What he does it, he gets the paper from the China, and then he prints by himself, and then that's how he is doing the BTG magazines that he was giving. That's what the Bhakti Madhav Maharaj is telling. So if you look at that, it's like a test, right? If you look at the whole Prabhupada, it's a whole test. He never said that, oh no, why Krishna you are testing us? I want to give about you to others. I want to talk about you. So why you are doing this test? So he never done this thing. He was always trying to see how can I do, what is the situation, how can I do it, right? So we know that in the initial days, Prabhupada, he was not, when he is giving a class, means literally there was no audience. That's where the Bhagavad Gita introduction chapter has been spoken, what we are reading and then what we are. So that reading this Bhagavad Gita introduction chapter only, Giriraj Maharaj became a devotee, right? So such a powerful one. He has given it literally in front of the 4 walls. That was the conviction of the Prabhupada. He never said it, oh, I have 1 year, I didn't make any devotees. He said that in one of the place, I'm not very happy here in the initial days, but I'm not going back. So that is what the one. So means I always, I hardly go to any books, and then if there is something, I'll always come to Mahaprabhu and say, this not happen, this not happen. It's like I just do for 1 hour or something, that's a one. Whereas if you look Prabhupada, he was just year continuously he did, and then he couldn't do it. So that's what we need to really do it. The test is something for them. It's not a really test as such. What they're doing is like they are teaching us how do we do it. So how we have to have is the test, we have to understand it, right? So we'll see there is this test is not a something new. The test is something to really understand what we are lacking or what to improve on it, right? This is there from the ages. So we all know Ramanujacharya, right? He is one very powerful Acharya. In his very early days, he went to meet the Goshti Purna. So his mother, someone said that you go and meet Goshti Purna and you can learn from him. So Ramanujacharya goes to Goshti Purna house, and then he is knocking his door. And then Goshti Purna is asking, who is this? I Ramanuja. And then Goshti Purna replies, when I died, you come and meet me. Ramanuja could not understand. What is this mean? When I died. So again Ramanujacharya when? Not. Who is this? I Ramanujacharya. Again same answer. When I died, come back. This is how 17 times he was going it. 18th time he knocks the door. That time Ramanujacharya said, Adiyan Ramanujam. Adiyan in the sense it's like I am the servant. Adiyan Ramanujam. So that's how we have in the Sri. Adiyan, they'll have use the word. Adiyan Ramanujam. Then he opens the door. So what he said is I died means when you have na means I means like me, you that has to go. You are like a come with the servant attitude, then only have to do it. So when the Ramanuja Acharya he passed that test, so he has not been tested once, he has been tested 17 times. When he passed that test, then only he got that mantra, then only he gave that, then the rest is the history. He gave that mantra to everyone. Then the Goshtipurna said that you are my master. So that's the one. So to have that kind of, to get the mantra, so he has to go through that test. So that test is what really to do is, are we really in the serious, or do we really want that one, right? It's not like, we just come here, it's not something easily given. It's not like, people try to think it's like a very cheap. It's not the one. That's how the whole important aspect of it need to really understand. So what's these two purport, mainly what we are Narad Muni is trying to say is that he's trying to say he's trying to say he's testing it whether you really want it, because it's a very tough process. So then only you can consider it. If you really know, then only we can value it. What is the value? Otherwise, like the problem, many of us is like we get very things easily, so we are not valuing what we have it, right? So the Prabhupada disciples, they value a lot because they know how the difficult what the Prabhupada has got it to get this one, right? So whereas we think that we got these things easily, because when I came, okay, I never had any problem. I came, I had a darshan, and always there is a prasadam and eat it. We never had a one. It's not like we really striving it. That's a hard not there, right? So there is a one more pastimes with Devi Shakti Mataji was telling it. So this is a very important, we need to really understand how do they all undergone the test, how they passed the test. So they all had a very Devi Shakti Mataji, when they came in 1972 or 74 to India, 74 I think, yeah. So 74 they came to India. That time there was no temple in the India, ISKCON temples. They are just, Juhu was undergoing so much of problem, and Vrindavan is delayed. They got trying to do it. In Mayapur they just had a hut and all these things. And then there was only a handful of devotees, and many people got sick and went back. Only few people, they are all there. So how they are doing it? They don't have a deities, they don't have a temples. So Mataji said that there are three things which help them to move on. One is the association, because they all with the association, they are never been alone. That's a very important. And second thing is, Mataji is telling, we are eating the prasadam. We never ate anything else. Then the very third important thing is, they all depends on the Harinam. So the chanting, Mataji says that 16 is, it's not the, we just chanted lots and round, we always chant the one. So that chanting gives that mantra gives them the strength to overcome any test or the challenges. So that's what Mataji was telling it. So even if you don't have a association, not every, sometimes they have to be alone and all. So they said that it's like a chanting. So one more point, beautiful point Mataji was telling it. So about the chanting is the strength. For that Mataji was telling, so if we chant their day, if they chant their beginning of their day itself, they say that we get so much of efficient days. We are able to do so many things in that day. So that's what Mataji is telling. With the chanting, we are able to any austerities, difficulties, we could able to progress further. So with that one, I'll stop here. So Gurindra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Any comments? Yes. No. Prabhu, there are 2 points. One is that whether Narad Muni is trying to say about Varnashrama Dharma. So if you look at even the Daksha's one, see, he was Daksha's sons. He didn't tell them to go to Grahastha. He said, you leave that one, you take it up. So always Narad Muni was trying to tell them to take up the bhakti at that one. Even we'll be later reading the Priyavarta story. So Priyavarta also was not interested to take up bhakti. So sorry, not to take up the kingdom. So he want to process only the bhakti because Narad Muni has given it. So Narad Muni was, it's not like he was trying to say Varnashrama one, because he always says the bhakti is the topmost, right? So that's number one. And second thing is, yes, always uttering the word Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya or like Om, everything is there, it's there one. But the way it's like, if you look at that one, it's like we can read it one, they will be having not eating anything, it's very severe austerities they will be undergoing it. Whereas in the Bhakti Yoga also we will be chanting the Lord, but it's like we have the devotion is the main thing, is we not just only doing the chanting it, right? Chanting is the one with the devotion. It's like to serve the Lord. Our whole purpose is to serve the Lord. It's not like just having the Vedic knowledge and everything, right? It's like that's why we have the whole process it. So it's not like just having a meditation in the trance. So Bhakti Yoga is not just, maybe Prabhu can add it up, it's not just only like a meditation and trance perspective, right? It's like how do we, all our senses, we use it for the Lord's pleasure. So that's a Mhm. I think he gives the Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Yeah. So the intent means the process was different, right? Even if you look in it, yes, of course, everything tends to Narayan. He is the Supreme Lord. Krishna is the Supreme Lord. It's all like praying to the Lord. How do we do it? So they do on the different process and mechanism. We cannot do always, Narsimha Kavacha Prabhu always says that, right? Deity worship in the past, it's been very, they done in the opulent way, so much of gold and everything, which we cannot do it in the now. So only the Sankirtana is the process now. So even, let's say, in Sri Sampradaya they say that 108 Divya Desam, only 106 is there in this earthly planet. Another two we cannot go in this with this body, right? So, anything else? Yes. it's like you are telling to me, like my mirror. Pro, in okay, I'm also trying to do what I understood, what I heard from this. There are two qualities. If we have the one, we can develop it. One is that humility. So that means we can learn. So that only we will hear and then try to open it. And second thing is we need to have a enthusiasm. Our Guru Maharaj says that one whoever have a enthusiasm, try to do it. So means I went recently with Chandan Prabhu and Madhura Prabhu books. Means I said to my wife, I said I'll just go and say hi to all the people going through the road. They are stopping all the people. I just learned from them. I also tried to do something that day. I did hardly anything, but that's one. Being with me in enthusiastic people and trying to be humble to listen from others. That's what we can make it. That's what maybe I don't know. Others may have better answers, but this is something. Prabhu, that's what our Guru Maharaj always says, that bhakti is a guidance culture. So, see, yes, of course, we are getting the test multiple times means we haven't learned the lesson, right? So, only things. So, what I heard from one of my Siksha Guru is that, so you need to open your heart to somebody you are close and try to, we may think that we are not having a problem at all. We may think we are doing okay, but we need to try to see what the emotions we are really going through, or what we have the one. We may think I'm doing everything, I don't have any problem. That's what I have. My problem is like I feel I don't have any problem. So that's the one. At least we try to open. Maybe this is what happening. This is what we just try to open. Then the people who have been following along, they can understand this is problem we have it. Why we are failing is, or why we are not understanding, learning it, we are not identifying the signs or root cause what is happening it. So that's what having someone trying to take their help or talking to somebody close, we can learn. That's how we just have to practice. That's what I hearing from others. I'm not sure, maybe something else to add. Yeah. Yes, Prabhu. Excellent question, Prabhu. So I'll just tell one pastime with Prabhupada. One person was in the temple, devotee, and then he left, and then he came back again. So with more enthusiastic. And to Prabhupada, he asked that, Prabhupada, tell me where should I go, which country I have to go? Can I go to, there are some people that time went under Iron Curtain, or you tell me any difficult place, I'll go and preach. Prabhupada, the answer was, you just come to Mangalarti morning program every day, right? So that means Prabhupada is trying to say why he was that. It's not like test. So in our case, means at least in my case and all, it's if my Guru Maharaj says something, it's like what the position I'm in, he definitely will not say too much. He knows that if I am not in a position itself to test it, right? So that's a one. So that's what we have a, let's say, proper means our mother doesn't test a child, right? So it's like our spiritual master in our case and all, they know our what we are level. They may not have a test. That means if let's say my whoever my authority, if they say something, it's not to really to, I see it's not really to test in the sense, it's like to, this is what I can do it. Means when okay, I don't know, today I'm telling many about Bob. He will stop talking to me later. So first day he took me to book, went with Baba Prabhu, he took me to a town hall. So it was the first day I'm doing that. Doing town hall is very hard. I didn't go alone, I went with my son. We both were just seeing it. So then Ganesham Prabhu said that it's very hard. But I thought that, okay, anyway, we didn't do much, we just learned. But that day we had many good learnings. So we met some people who were stopped, they are all preaching to us. Not, we couldn't talk to them anything. So that's what. It's not, may not be like a test, it's like a learnings. We know what's our level and capability, and then we know, then we have one. We just learn and try to do it. Yeah. Are we really, in terms of really when we'll be tested, it's not like with the spiritual master or authority in at least my level. The test will happen when I go to, after half an hour I go to office, I'll have lots of tests. So like Mahatma Prabhu says that your sadhana starts from the 9 o'clock. So yes. Prabhu, I don't know, I've been tested here. Prabhu, in enthusiasm, always means my Guru Maharaj says that try to be with who is enthusiastic, right? So that's the reason you some means why means in my I cannot say anything. I don't have any one. I'll try to see whoever have doing it the service well. I'll try to talk to them. I try to do it because otherwise that's how we can have tried to with their shoulders we get, it's a very contagious, right? When the Prabhupada, they see the people, they become very contagious and they also want to do something. So why, that's the one. It's like being seeing the enthusiasm. With somebody sincere and enthusiastic, if you try to with them, try to do a service, we'll learn from them. That's the one. With respect to humility, I don't know whether I have one. And reading Prabhupada books, he always gives a one, right? It's always, they just, Prabhupada talks lots, and in his purpose we can learn a lot how he is trying to do it. So he himself puts in the always humble position. He never bloat up himself a lot. You can see it in Bhagavad Gita. I believe in chapter 4 or something only he word his name like humble myself. Something he had written after 4th chapter or something. He word that one line will come. So the read in Chaitanya Charitamrita, if you read it, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami takes up so much of humble position which we cannot never think of it. He says that when somebody hears my name, all their auspiciousness will go away, or who tells my name or remembers me like that. He takes so much humble position everywhere. Even I was reading some day back, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says, I writing book for my purification. So it was like a very eye-opener for me. Prabhupada writes a beautiful purport for that one. So it's not about whether the book is getting published or book is getting distributed or not. It's like he writing for his own purification. So by reading, at least maybe in people like me level and all, reading such books, making to understand or have that one. But I don't know, maybe who are, how may have better process of following it, but at least in my sense, I feel books teaches us. Yes, Prabhu. Even in Sri Sampradaya, there is a one of the Charama Shloka that is from the Varaha Purana, right? In that Varaha Purana, Lord says to Bhudevi, Mother Earth, somebody when he is there good, well, and then they done all their services they done, even if they are in the end of the age, even if they are like a log, wood, even such kind of state, I'll come and make them remember it. So what is telling, when they are having a steady mind and then healthy body, they whatever they do the services, that's enough. So that's a Charamaha sloka, one of the sloka they'll keep repeating it, like how do we say that, right? Sarvadharma Parityaksha Mamekam Saranam, like that. That is the one they'll always keep reminding themselves. That means when we are good, we do our services. That's what our Guru Maharaj also says, that one. When we are well, if we do our services, after that, because when our body goes, that one, that thought itself will make us to remember Krishna, that will go more on. That's what I heard it, Prabhu. Kirindra Srimad Bhagavatam ki